I love sweet God magnet. Lobsters and I don't you grab it.
Welcome to Lobster Magnets Review, the channel, the review. I'm here with my buddy, Gorogregoro.
Yo, what's up?
And we are here to talk about My Hero Academia, Season 2, episode, is it 22?
Yeah, I believe it's 22.
Alright, episode 22. We got a whole bunch of action in this episode. What did you think of all the various little matchups and the cathartic moment we got for Little Miss Creation Girl?
That moment was the highlight of the episode for me. I thought she really needed a win, and that was probably the biggest win she's ever gotten in the whole series, ever.
Yeah, well, she got like a sort of quasi-win during like the villain invasion arc. She gets like a big hero moment where she's like helping fighting off the goons, and then she like comes up with like an electric insulated thing that like protects against the electric guys, taser guys, electricity. That was kind of like her big moment there. But yeah, obviously, you know, throughout the whole thing, we've been seeing her, you know, lose her confidence despite being like, you know, sexiest, best girl, whatever you want to call it, in the classroom. The most fan-servicey out of all the hero costumes. Although, weirdly enough, her fan-servicey costume does have, like, a semi-practical purpose. Because, you know, she does have, like, one of the best creative, like, superpowers in the entire series, I think.
Yeah, I was about to say, her quirk is probably one of the strongest, has, like, the most potential of most of the quirks in the class.
Yeah,
I guess besides Todoroki's.
Well, Todoroki is basically like, you know, I've got two cool overused powers slammed together. It's like I'm a Koji and a Kinu. I'm Iceman, and what's the fire guy in X-Men? Is it Pyro?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm Pyro and Iceman combined together. I'm a Koji, I'm a Kinu combined together. I'm just the best. I'm like, I'm going to take one A-plus power, and I'm going to slam it together with another A-plus power hero. So Todoroki, like, in terms of, like, creative superpowers, I think he's not that interesting. Like, Todoroki is, like, basically, like, a ball of, like, derivative ideas that are all, like, smashed together to, like, kind of create something new, or at least something with enough like things that you recognize from other stuff that you're kind of like, oh, I can get behind this guy. He's cool. He's powerful. Because, you know, he's got the Zuko burn design. He's got the, you know, Smexy design. He's got the Iceman, Fireman powers. He's just a mishmash of, like, a whole bunch of things you've seen in a bunch of other places.
Yeah, but I think it's all tastefully done, like the way they mashed it all together. And plus with the interesting backstory, too, with... you know, him being the son of the second best hero.
Well, true. Those are the things that make him stand out. But I'm just saying, like I feel like her Yaoyorozu Momo, however the hell you pronounce her name, her power, like, to me, feels more inventive than his.
Oh yeah, there's like way more potential for her power to level up. I think she's just got so much potential with this, like, creation power. It actually just feels absolutely broken, like if it's, you know, leveled up to its highest capacity.
Yeah, it does feel like there's a lot of growth versus, like, being a frog. Although the frog girl got, like, a nice little fight. I was surprised about how much material they managed to fit into this, chapter. Like, there was, like, or episode, there was, like, at least 3 fights, and they were, like, all fully featured, and they all, like, I honestly felt a little bit more developed than even the tournament fights.
Oh, yeah. These fights turn out way better than the tournament
I have to check
fights.
the manga. I feel like the fight with Ida and Tail Guy against the Power Loader guy was, like, filler. I feel like that wasn't in the manga, but, you know, even that was, like, you know, didn't, like, stand out, and it felt like enough thought had been put into it that it didn't feel offensive or like, you know, dumb or time-wasty.
Yeah, I thought that was a fine fight. It was, like, short and sweet. It's like, the ground went out underneath him, and then it's just like, use your tail to fling yourself forward even further with my speed boost and make you spin faster.
Don't we just love Tail Guy with his incredible tail?
How does Tail Guy level up? Like, I want to know, like, how the hell does Tail Guy level up? Does he get a bigger tail? how like phallic is this level up gonna be? You know?
Maybe he gets nunchucks that he can use the tail guy. Like he definitely got like the short end of the straw in the quirk pool of creative ideas.
Maybe he can do like kung fu with his tail. He's always dressed up in the karate outfit.
That is his idea, is that he develops his own unique martial art from his tail fighting. But like nobody really gives a shit about tail guy. Tail guy in like the tiers of like My Hero Academia fandom, he's at least C plus D list.
Wouldn't it be cool for like tail guy to have his moment of triumph too? Like for once, like he can have like a special level up. Is like this fight is for me only, and he like takes down like a badass side villain of some kind.
Well, we'll see. I'll say this much: if he's gonna get it, he hasn't gotten it yet in the manga. Tail guy, I'm sure if Kishimoto was running this, maybe he'd come up with something clever for Tail guy. But no, so far, whatchamacallit, my Horikoshi has not.
All right. Well, also, did they forget about Invisible Girl? I could have sworn they skipped over.
No, I think she's coming up next. I think she's fighting the principal with someone else. So everyone's favorite girl is going to get her moment to shine.
Finally.
But whatchamacallit, Frog Girl and Dark Shadow. Dark Shadow should be my favorite because of the whole bird theme, and I do think he is one of the more unique powers in the series.
Oh yeah, the Dark Shadow bird guy. His power seems a little bit like he could create a familiar shadow thing that could basically attack for him. I don't know. It doesn't feel like there's that many inspiring things you can do with that. Besides,
you'd
like,
be surprised. It does some cool shit later on. It does some interesting things because, like, the whole idea is that like it gets more powerful the darker it is. If there's more direct daylight, then it's not as weak, and it's interesting. It's a versatile power that kind of feels like more Hunter JoJo-y versus like the more direct powers that we see in the series.
I guess it doesn't. It just for me right now, it doesn't feel as well as developed as some other.
Some of the other quirks than the other people.
Yeah.
But did you like? Well, so obviously those fights were just sort of kind of like side appetizers for the main dish, which was the Todoroki and Yozuru team up against Aizawa. And did you thoroughly enjoy everyone's favorite boob girl getting her moment?
Oh yeah, that was very very good moment. Very cathartic, I guess.
Yeah. I guess you could say it was cathartic because they did a good job of like building up her disappointment that we've seen throughout the past few episodes, in the sense that like she didn't get to do much of the sports festival. When she was in the tournament at the end of the sports festival, she just kind of like got beaten very easily. Her confidence had been waning, despite seeming very confident and affluent initially, and the fact that she was basically spent her internship being used as like a sexy prop, further diminished her sense of self-worth.
Yeah. Yeah, they did really build up her character to finally have a good moment very well.
Yeah, and it was very well directed. The music's swelling as she's like surrounded with indecision, but then she decides to ultimately like follow through. And then Todoroki sees his mistake and respects her, and they follow through with it, and they come up with a great plan, and they come up with the material, and they trap him in it, and it's great. It's got all these like it was a good fight in the sense that like it had a lot of good story little fight beats.
Yeah, I was frustrated by like her indecision before. She's like, why are you so indecisive about this plan? And like all along, she had an even better plan in her head that she wasn't communicating about.
Yeah, because she was just indecisive. She was just like doing that little cute little thing with her mouth, and I'm so indecisive, I don't know if I can believe in myself, but then she finally does. And it was definitely like a nice like a little character moment that definitely felt very triumphant and felt like one of the small character victories you'd get out of like the Chunin exams in Naruto or something.
Yeah. I guess Todoroki helped a little bit in terms of like giving her that confidence boost. Like, I voted for you to be the class president or something like that.
Yeah, the class rep.
Class rep. So that helped her give it a little bit of confidence to finally follow through with her genius plan, which was wow, that was a really well executed plan. Like, her powers are just so ridiculous. Like, she made all those crazy props to like fool eraser guy, or whatever his name is.
Aizawa, I think is his name.
Aizawa, and then made a catapult with that fiber to launch at the dude and then wrap around him. Like, that's crazy. There's like so many things she could do with this power that she just overcame that confidence
that hurdle, that
obstacle.
confidence hurdle. Yeah, it was definitely a nice little episode. Let's talk about the sort of interesting subtext of fan service.
Oh yeah,
she's like she's definitely what you'd call a fan service character, and there were like little moments where there's maybe like a little bit more boob jiggling. Although I'd still say that like generally like My Hero Academia like is still very tasteful with its fan service, in the sense that like we're not getting like the super boob boing and then the panty shots and like like the sort of like the best you'll get is like maybe there'll be a revealing or skin tight outfit, but that's sort of about it.
Yeah. I mean, even somewhat with like some of the poses with Frog Girl, like in that fight with the ectoplasm guy, I feel like it was a little bit like kind of like on the line of fan servicey. I mean, so yeah, some of these character designs can be very fan serviceable.
It's so funny though, but it still feels classy, or classier than like some other things you'd get in anime or other manga and whatnot.
Yeah,
it's
slightly more
like her like flying around. It definitely felt like, here's a shot for you to like GIF on Tumblr.
Yeah, and this is the thing, like with fan service, like I think we don't want too much of it. We don't want like it to be like blaring out on us all the time.
It was interesting because it just feels like sleazy and tacky and like kind of gross most of the time. Well, I don't know, I think I've said this before, but like generally I'd say we're both not fan service people, but like it's easier to accept fan service in a series that has like some sort of lewd premise. Or is just very open about it, versus like something where it isn't, where it's like a fantasy action adventure thing, and then it's like, here's your softcore porn, here's your shitty porn, and your action adventure, versus like I think there's this not super famous, it might be worth watching someday. There's this anime called like Shimamoto, and it's basically about this like world where like all dirty jokes are banned from Japan and whatnot. So there's this girl who runs around with panties on her face, and she's like this underground, lewd, dirty joke terrorist.
Lewd, dirty joke terrorist. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, exactly. So she does like these demonstrations of like throwing panties in the air and all these other kind of lewd things, and so basically she's like trying to break down the facade of the clean society through dirty jokes and double entendres and all kinds of things. So obviously something like that, is more appropriate to like, throw in the fan service. Whatchamacallit, something like Kill la Kill, which is like very intentionally over-sexualized. The fan service kind of like makes sense because it's like, so ingrained into the aesthetic DNA of the series that it feels completely natural. Versus like, and My Hero like mostly stays on the tasteful line, but like, I don't know. It's such an interesting line. We talk about it with Dr. Stone, how it feels like Dr. Stone is mostly tasteful, but like Boichi's like, fighting the urge to like sneak what he can in there. And like, I think the Hirokoshi guy, he says that like he likes really drawing really erotic art and thick girls, but like, I guess he likes superheroes more, so that's what he's like more focused on. But in terms of, well, the most obvious thing in the world at the end after the credit scene, what did you think? Were the Shining guy and, good old Uraka, Gravity Girl, it's like, ooh, do you like Deku? And she's like a little flustered. It's like, oh my god, it's so fucking obvious. Who could be shipped except for the first girl introduced, the obvious main character girl and the main guy? Oh, what could not happen? Oh, I don't know. I find it like, shipping like a little tedious when like you have these options and they're like so painfully obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, are Fry and Leela ever gonna get together? I don't know. Of course they are. Of course they. Pam and Jim, will they? Won't they? Of course they do. Fuck you. It's always obvious.
Well, when you make that Pam and Jim comparison, like there's some obstacles in the way and stuff.
But they still do, just like, I don't know, I don't watch The Big Bang Theory, but like, isn't there like the main guy and the Penny girl? I'm sure they get together at some point after the 16th season. Although I know, like, it's not the cool thing to like Big Bang Theory. It's kind of like the nerd blackface, or like, or basically what
I can't believe you just said that.
Hey, man, other people have said it before. Like, that is not my original thing. Or maybe a more appropriate thing would be like, less controversial. Is Big Bang Theory is kind of like what all those other podcasting things that like Red Letter Media makes fun of.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
It's just like a bunch of jocks trying to pretend to be nerds.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, I guess the main point is that, like, so much of fandom is made in shipping. And even if you look at like My Hero Academia shipping in like Tumblr or Reddit or whatever, you'll see all these sort of like fan posts of fan pairings. Oh my god, Deku and Todoroki, they're the best couple ever. Oh man, Frog Girl and Deku, they're the best couple ever. Here are my things of why they should be together, blah blah blah. Even though, like most shonen series, romance is always like the third thing on the tertiary list of fucking priorities. And usually like the pairings are like super fucking obvious.
Yeah,
oh my god, first main girl who is all the main girl. She's not too, she's attractive and cute and fun and bubbly, and she doesn't have like anything that's like too off-putting, like, some of the other girls or whatever, like the pink girl, although people love the pink girl.
It's kind of interesting. That is always the case. Like, always the romance is like put on the wayside. It's always about like the main plot and like the main character's development and in terms of his power level. But, when it comes to romance, it's always put on the side. Like, I kind of wonder what would happen to a shonen series if it actually did, like, start to shift towards, the romantic side of it.
It is, that is an interesting complexion. Like, I don't know. I mean, I would love to see like a battle manga where like maybe the romance stuff isn't like the third priority. But usually, like, I don't know if this is an editorial direction, but usually it almost always comes up to like, oh, comedic misunderstandings. Oh my god, it's a harem. Who's going to be with who? And then it's just sort of like this prolonged thing. You very rarely see like, oh my god, they're in a relationship. Let's see what them have things with this relationship.
Yeah.
That's very, very uncommon. Usually it's just sort of like, oh, hilarious misunderstanding. Oh my god, I saw you in the bathroom. Oh, I fell down and now I'm in your crotch. Oh my god, it's so crazy and hilarious and all these.
It always turns into a joke
down
later on, right?
Yeah.
Like in most series, like most shonen series. But yeah, it'd be kind of interesting to see if a series could actually break that trope somehow.
Well, here's my theory about it. Like, generally, like, I almost say you could, like, say that this is broadly applied beyond the realm of shonen and shoujo manga, Although I need to read more shoujo manga just to like broaden my palette and see if my theory is true. But like the general consensus is that like shoujo manga mostly focuses on the relationships of the characters and their general emotional development, while shonen manga is more about hierarchical achievement in terms of like, oh, Dekko's can become the best hero and he's got to do all these things to get through high school and rank up on the heroes, and whatchamacallit, Naruto has to rise up from a chunin to from a genin to a chunin to a jonin to become the Hokage, and there's this hierarchy of ninjas he needs to overcome, and that's generally like the sort of Pavlovian thing that we love in like fucking shonen manga. Like, Claymore was kind of boring, but then it became a little less boring once they introduced the fact that there's like 50 Claymores, and the Clarice, the main girl, is actually the 51st Claymore, so she's the weakest. So, oh my god, who are these other Claymores? What's this hierarchy? What determines their strength? Oh my god. I just think that like us guys are like hardwired that like whenever like there's a structure and there's numbers and shit in the hierarchy, we just love it. We eat it up like fucking dogs. Ooh, there's the top 10. Ooh, how do you get into the top 10? Oh my god, he's fighting number 1 in the elite 10, and we are just suckers for it. And
we fucking love competition.
We love competition. We love hierarchy. We love structure
and numbers.
And numbers. We fucking eat that shit up. And that is like, how you create a great shonen manga. Well, shoujo manga will basically be like, there'll be these settings, like, I almost think it almost breaks down to the point of like comparing like Entourage and Sex and the City. Like Entourage and Sex and the City are the exact same fucking show, but within Entourage, like it's all about like their advancement of their careers as well as their friendship. But like, it's like,
and also hooking up with the next girl in the episode.
Yeah, there's also that, which gets kind of a bad rep. And even as an Entourage defender, I can't like really defend that. But like, the reason why I stuck with the show is like, oh, is E gonna actually become like a legitimate Hollywood person, or is he always gonna be in Vince's shadow? Is Turtle actually gonna become like a legitimate business person, or is he just gonna be the stupid guy who drives everyone around? Will Johnny Drama actually, achieve some measure of pathetic success? And of course, Vince's careers. Well, in Sex and the City, all the girls are basically, they're all super successful. They're all, one's a really high-paid lawyer. Carrie Bradshaw, Samantha, or, she's like a super writer. The other one's a publicist. The other one, I forget what she does, the mousy Jewish one, who's not Jewish, becomes Jewish. But the point is, they all have like, make 100K. They're the whole drama of the entire thing is like the relationships that they develop with each other and have those dynamics fluctuate, as well as the relationships with the men in their lives.
Yeah,
and sometimes men.
It isn't really about like there's their careers at all, isn't it? It's like it's never about that. It's always about
their careers are always great. They are always doing a great job in their careers. They are the best. While in Entourage, most of them are not, except for Vince, and even he, like, so that's the sort of like what creates the interesting arc of the ups and downs of their careers. And you could say like, seeing Deku's career of being a superhero is what it is, and like, him, making out with Uraka is probably like the third thing down on the list.
Yeah. Well, that's a interesting way of putting it. Yeah. And
there's even like minor spoiler in the manga. There's like a scene where he's like thinking like, oh, I don't like Deku. Oh, she's getting nervous and flustered and so cute, but then she's like looking at Deku like training in like the dark of night as he's like trying to like take his thing to the next level, and she's like, you know what? No, I'm gonna focus on being a hero too.
Okay.
So that's basically her, like, putting aside her emotional attachments, even though obviously, like, if she says, oh, Deku, I like you, let's go out, Deku would be like, yay, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, for now, it seems a little bit confusing whether she likes him that much. Like,
oh, she does it. The whole thing tells you everything you need to do, and there's even more shit to support it later on.
Okay.
The first girl is best girl. It's painfully obvious. The central drama of My Hero Academia is not Deku developing a harem, and it's like, oh, is he going to go with Invisible Girl? Oh, is he going to go with Gravity, the best girl? Or is he going to go with Frog Girl? No. It's, is he going to be the best hero, and then maybe later on, on the side, he gets, the obvious main girl, Ochika.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Just like how Naruto consummates his relationship with Hinata by holding her hands towards the end of the series.
you know, that's funny. Maybe how do you think Bakuman compares to all that analysis?
Bakuman is interesting because, like, I don't know, it's weird because, like,
The whole premise of the whole plot is centered around like, building up their characters so they can be in a relationship together, so they can
well,
get married.
there's you could say that like Bakuman kind of like follows that ideal. It's like, oh, that's our final reward. Just like Naruto gets to get laid at the end of the series. Deku, assumingly, maybe gets laid at the end of the series, or at least gets to kiss Ochika, and that'll be his final reward after he becomes the ultimate hero. While Bakuman explicitly stated at the front, you need to become the best manga artist so I can become a voice actor, and then we can start dating. But then you had like the writer guy. God, I can't believe I can't remember his name. But the writer guy who has like his relationship with Miyoshi, and it's like or Kaya or whatever her name was.
I think it was Miyoshi.
And she's just like there the whole time, and they get married, and it's so weird where they like do all these like sort of adult things, but like they still act like a high school couple.
Yeah, it's interesting, like contrasting their relationship to the main artist guy's relationship with.
Well, yeah, I guess you could say so, because theirs is like the more natural, slightly more believable, even though you don't really see them like making out or anything.
You don't see that. You don't ever see that in like a shonen kind of manga. Bakuman is like a shonen manga, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It was published in Shonen Jump. It's 100% a shonen manga.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Like the main artist, like his dynamic is basically like the typical shonen thing. It's the typical Deku and Ochika relationship, while the other guy had like a more natural, more believable relationship. But even still, that wasn't like the focus of the manga.
Yeah.
She was just kind of like a cute, attractive supporting character, and it was like, oh yeah, that fills in my fantasy. I'd like a cute little attractive girl to support me in my dream and think it was cool. No, which was a nice little fantasy, and it was nice that they were together. And there was also the sort of like little tension where there was like the kind of like stuck up smart girl would probably be a better fit for him, because they're both intellectually minded, but because he decided to like stick with his stupid the low craft of like making popular entertainment, she was like, oh, kind of like spurned by him.
Yeah, that. Man, that plot there is a little bit vague, foggy to me, but
it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Then she comes back, and then she winds up writing manga because she's super smart and she's like a published author, and she kind of does it to see if she can win his affection, but it's too late because he's already involved in a relationship with Miyoshi.
Yeah, and then I think that's a trigger for him marrying Miyoshi, I think.
Yeah, that was because they had like a whole misunderstanding. There was some like interesting romantic stuff in Bakuman, although it was mostly chase, versus like, I don't know, some sort of like Turav Yu or something, where it's basically like a harem manga with like hilarious things. Or what's that other one that was like Nisekoi was like a popular romantic comedy that lasted like 200 plus chapters in Shonen Jump and got a pretty long running anime adaptation, but that was more typical like harem stuff where it's like, let's keep on adding more and more girls, and who's she gonna go with as they go through like high school festivals and whatnot. I never Nisekoi. And obviously, like, relationship stuff is like third or fourth thing in the priority of My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Because all these characters, they just want to be the best. They just want to be really good heroes, and they don't have time for like hooking up and fucking. They got to be heroes.
I guess Bakuman kind of explored that territory, didn't they? A bit more than any other shonen manga, at least to my recollection.
I'm trying to think, because obviously, I'm not like a big harem comedy guy, as you can imagine, in my no fan service stance. But like, I'm like the kind of guy who will like read about things more so than maybe I'll read it directly if it's not something that caters to my interest. But I'm always interested in what's like, culturally relevant. So I keep a periphery knowledge of that. But that was a very engaging side discussion. But we should probably get back to what would you rate this episode?
Oh yeah, the rating. I give it an 8.5. I enjoyed a lot of it, a lot of this episode. I mean, I can't think of anything I didn't really enjoy that much. Maybe I should give it a 9?
I don't know. I feel like it doesn't deserve a 9. It was a very solid, good episode, but it wasn't as amazing as we know the series can be when it wants to be.
Yeah, but I'm just surprised, how good it felt for such as a character we don't really get to see that often, that we never see in the limelight that much. To actually see her get a really great moment, how good that felt. That was pretty good. That was
yeah, it was. I'd agree with you. I think maybe it's definitely an 8.5. I was leaning towards 8, but it was 8.5. It was well directed. It was the kind of thing that we've talking about what does My Hero Academia need to get to the Naruto level of success. And one of the things it needs is making sure that the side cast gets fleshed out and gets their moments. And this is a great moment for a side cast member who's not a major player, but good, decent character design, was a cool ability. You maybe shouldn't be a focal point, but it's good to flesh out your 20 plus cast members.
Yeah, absolutely. And one day, Duct Tape Man is also going to get a character moment. He's going to level up his duct tape. He's just it's going to be some kind of, I don't know, fiberglass kind of duct tape. I don't.
You are so excited. Duct Tape Man is just your favorite guy. Maybe you should just do in your next creative stream some Duct Tape Man fan art.
Maybe, but we'll see.
Add that to your list. Now I kind of want to see it. I want to see you put your pen where your mouth is to see if you can show the world why Duct Tape Man is the best My Hero Academia character. But you should get excited though. Next week we're gonna get to see Tape Man's fight.
Oh snap! Who is he teamed up with? Visible Girl?
No, he's teamed up with Pervert Guy, the guy with the grapes on his head.
Oh, that okay.
And it's him versus the sexy Miss Midnight.
Yeah. All right. Well, God.
I think so. You sticking with an 8.5?
Fuck it. Yeah. No. I'm so indecisive this time. I'm
You want to give it a 9 or something?
I'll be generous. I'll give it a 9. I think I was happy with this episode. I was pretty happy with it. I think it hit all the right beats at the right time.
It was definitely
nothing to complain
episode.
about, really.
Yeah. It was definitely a good episode, although I don't think it's going to be as good as the main event that we're seeing is the All Might versus Deku and Bakugo. That's the big fight. That'll probably that'll be the good season ender. So I'm looking forward to that when we get it. But another good solid episode. My Hero Academia is still going strong, and then hopefully nice little break, and then we get an even better season 3.
Yeah. Oh man. I hope the following season will be even better. This is this series has been very enjoyable so far.
It has been. So what do you think we should shell? I think I'm going to do Russian dolls. The little.
I was just about to say that. Yeah. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, we were going to have those little Russian dolls.
She kept on popping out those Russian dolls.
Yeah, it was her thing to make sure that the eye guy, good old eyelet guy couldn't, whatchamacallit. Yeah, so go buy Russian doll to give, tribute to your favorite best girl and her incredible creation powers. because Russian dolls are awesome, and they're the only way you can defeat Eraserhead's erasing quirk. So go buy those Russian dolls
with a flashbang.
Yeah, and you know, all you sexy girls want to cosplay as Yaoyorozu, so you can show what you got. And you need Russian dolls to fulfill your cosplaying suit. So get those Russian dolls so you can complete the your costume, and get all the people to say, "Oh my God, you are so incredible! I just want to take a picture of you so I can feel like I give you attention and you pose for me."
What is the name? What is the actual name for those Russian dolls? Like, there's. I wish I.
Babushkas, Murskas.
I feel kind of dumb just calling them Russian dolls.
Yeah. Nesting dolls. That's like a specific. Oh yeah. Matryoshka. I'm sure I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, but Matryoshka dolls. So go get your Matryoshka doll.
Okay.
Because, they're great. They're just like, the gift that keeps on giving. So, all right. Thank you for spending our time listening to us discuss the latest chapter of our episode of My Hero Academia. Certainly a strong one. I think next week's going to be even better. It's another great run. So like, comment, subscribe, and remember, lobsters and tennis, but don't you grab it.
Manga's made of iron, lobsters made of ice.